something.
We would lose 77% of our audience.
Yeah, you can't, Kate, you can't say the numbers out loud of attendees because I get paid to drop like sponsors' names during the show, and we tell them we have much more people here.
My bad.
The thing you got to remember is asking people to join every Thursday is unlikely. Asking people to watch on their own terms, all the better.
The new intro is so dramatic. And inspiring.
I really enjoy the fact that Chad just kept talking.
There's your intro.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Retireholics. Especially thanks because I feel like the last 3 out of the 4 shows have been total shit canners. Chad's was the only good one, apparently. Everyone told me Chad did a great job.
Time out. Kate, chat to
I know.
everybody. Kate,
My
chat
gosh, Kate.
to everybody. You're rookie.
Rookie move. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since we've performed a song, so Kate's a special guest. She's a friend of the show. She's a solid advisor. So, it made sense that I would sit down and put pen to paper and write a little tune. It's a cappella, no music needed. So here we go. It's titled Hillbilly Kate.
Oh,
There
really?
There once was a girl and her name was Kate. She lived on a ranch in a hillbilly state. She has all kinds of cows, pigs, and horses too. She can drive a tractor better than you. I bet you didn't know that you can farm in 401k. But hillbilly Kate, well, she can show the way. You pick your funds like you pick a new cow. Fiduciary review meetings while riding on a plow. Hillbilly Kate is a cowgirl for sure. And at the same time, a financial entrepreneur. She can put the horses in their proper stalls. And if you're a bull, she can cut off your balls.
You don't save those only for bulls, JD.
I don't know. I Googled it. It said that you cut off bulls' balls. Justin.
That was good, JD.
Why don't you intro our guest formally, and you out there in the audience, you know what to do. You're going to rate Justin on 0 to 10. But remember, it's important because his job's on the line. So
that's right.
Oh, I missed that.
5, so I can get like a 4 today and still be employed.
Yeah, sure.
The
The
math doesn't
average.
work,
You're
so.
right. You're right.
Anyways,
I definitely
When
missed
do-
that.
Yeah, I got some questions about that.
Okay. Anyways, this Natty Light loving, deep sea fishing, cow whispering, beloved friend of the Holics is back for what should be her 3rd guest appearance on the show, but JD screwed that one up in Vegas. I have a feeling this one's a makeup for it. She's at the top of her game and one of the best in the business. In fact, she's so good that earlier today I received a text from a fellow Chatbar member that read, "Boy, I wasn't planning on showing up to the show tonight because I'm drying out, but Katie is a draw and I just have to jump in." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Kate Clark back to the show.
Thank you.
Good job, Justin. Good job. You know what I love about that?
Hmm.
I love that someone out there is considering whether or not they're going to come watch the show on Thursday night, and they feel like they have to drink to watch the show. That warms my heart because that's the way it should be. Like, you should have to fucking get plastered and watch the show. Well done. We're going to play some games today, Kate. I'm sure you're familiar with these. Acrosyn starts now, so no initialisms or acronyms, or you must drink from your penalty drink. I've got some good old Malort right here out of the big bottle, so I'll be playing along with you all. Ooh, vodka. Nice. Chatbar champion. Pay attention to the chat bar. You'll be voting someone into the finals. And then you out there in the audience, you will vote for the winner. Greg Greenfield. Sue from last. Actually, Sue wrote me and said, don't send me anything. I'm like, okay, she wants to give it to charity. Greg won't tell me if he's at home or not. And fucking Mrs. Brandrup won't respond to my email or my LinkedIn message. So we're pushing those
Wow.
fuckers food. Greg's at home. Well, respond to me, Greg. So we'll get you your stuff. And then don't forget, next month, we're going to be doing a little charity thing with the Chatbar champion. We're going to play some other games. You can all out there look forward to a little Wheel of Ice in a bit, drunk stock tips, and maybe a very quick other game that will involve Kate. Beer of the episode. The beer of the episode is Natty Light. And I went out on the internet and found some fun facts about Natty Light that I can share with y'all today, okay? Did you know that it was the Miller Brewing Company in 1975 that launched Miller Lite, the first light beer, a 96-calorie beer? And so Anheuser-Busch had to get
There's
in the
no calories in beer.
game. Anheuser-Busch had to get in the game. They didn't create Bud Light. No, they created Natty Light first. It was their first release of a light beer. At the time, it was 97 calories. Today, it comes in at a slim 95 calories. Natty Light's got many nicknames. Natty Light being one of them. Some people just call it Natty. I've also heard that it's lovingly referred to as Shore Champagne, which I didn't know. And then it has some less adoring names, although my son would take offense to this. Fratty Light, and I guess this has to do with the taste, Flatty Light, are some of the nicknames. But with that said, after 40 years, Natty is still one of America's favorite beers. It was the 8th best-selling beer in America in 2018 with 6.7 million barrels sold. Let's see. You know, it was the first beer in outer space. Yes, it was. Its flavor can be polarizing. It has, if you go to ratebeer.com, Natty Light is in first place right now as the worst tasting beer in the world. But at the same time,
Oh, come on. That's bullshit. The
Right?
stuff Mark's bought from like Trader
Uh-huh.
Joe's is so much worse.
but at the same time, it won the prestigious World Beer Cup in 2008, and got a bronze model. It got a bronze medal for the best American style light lager. And then lastly, Natty cans can fight crime. Apparently in Florida, why do these things always happen in Florida, Kate? A man was trying to burglarize a liquor store, and a local hero picked up 4 cans of Natty Ice and threw it at the motherfucker, and the guy fled on foot. So there you go.
Hey, Mark, can you hold your can up again? I didn't get a good look at it.
Oh.
Oh.
It's a new, it's a
One
seasonal.
of the limited edition.
Yeah, it's their special beer for the holidays. They're using different can colors and things now, just to little retro feel. Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of limited
Yeah.
edition, when I was buying this one, there was a one called
I'm
a
with
Natty
you.
Daddy. What's the difference?
Natty
was what?
Daddy?
Natty Daddy. When I was buying
You
this
asked
one.
that of Kate like she's supposed to know. She's the national ambassador for Natty Light, right?
Are
Natty
we
Daddy?
Natty
are we
Daddy.
giving it robes, Kate? How many robes out of 5 robes would you give it?
Oh.
Natty
Five.
Light, 5 robes. 5 robes for Natty Light. It's
Of
phenomenal.
course.
I
It
give
is
it
my
6.
go-to beer.
Boom, Natty Light. Okay, let's got some things to talk about. Let's go to
Wow.
headlines. Let's go to headlines, shall we? Right, you boys have got these headlines, so I'm assuming you did lots of research. The first one comes from
Didn't even read
Plan-
your email.
Plan
Sorry.
Advisor magazine. And it is titled Record. This is a long title, by the way. They need help from like Nevin and John Sullivan over there at Plan Advisor. Recordkeeper consolidation leads to drop in proprietary product share, opening door for asset managers. Chad, I know you read this sucker. I did. You want to give us a little kickoff on it?
Sure, but I have a different spin on it probably than you were thinking, at least when I first came out of it, which is they said in that article, what I'm going to go down and look, 450, right? No, 400 record keepers down to just over 150
Right. Yeah.
in the past decade. And obviously when you have that kind of consolidation, most of them are small, but we've seen groups like Mass and
Some bigger
others,
ones.
some bigger ones be pushed into this. And my first takeaway, JD, the first thing that came to my mind when they thought or stated the percentage of assets that are sitting in proprietary for these record
Well-
keepers and how they have gone down. Sorry, go ahead.
And state state that for everyone. I mean, that
Yeah.
was the premise of the article, right? Is
The premise is that currently with the consolidation and when you look at the proprietary holdings for the different record keepers that are heavy players in this space, the percentage of the assets that are sitting in a proprietary holding has gone down over
which
the
would
last
be
decade.
which would be counterintuitive. You would think that if these record keepers are purchasing other record keepers, what a great opportunity to shove those into their own funds when they come over, right?
Well, so that's the different spin, but let me give the stat then as you continue to set the stage. 14 record keepers that also have asset managers or asset management divisions. And within the last decade, the proprietary holding high was 45.7%. So of those folks, the assets under management at those record keepers, the high was 45%.
Back in 2009.
2009. And then in 2020, it was 24.8%. Now, what's happened within that time period? We've seen fee disclosure take force. We've seen a
Damn
lot
it.
of pressure.
You're
We've
taking
seen
my point.
holdings.
That's what I was going to say.
But so I'll tee that up for you, but let me make my statement first. I wrote an advisor and I sent this article because I thought it was relevant for him. And I said, I would really like to see the statistic on, because they make the point in this on the acquired record keepers coming over and that being the catalyst that's led the percentage to drop,
Yeah.
right? If you bring on 30,000 plans, well, it's going to take your proprietary
Because
holdings
you don't-
down because you don't
You
have
don't swap them. Yeah.
you don't swap them. Now, what I said is I'd like to see of those 30,000 plans that came over, how many of them end up having proprietary funds within a 3-year period? Because I would imagine if they ran the statistic again after we go through this merger and acquisition phase that we've been in for the last few years,
Oh, you want to
you're
drill
going to see
down?
it go back up.
You want to drill down specifically, but I thought this graph should tell you that. It should show you that in omnibus, like that.
Well, yeah. And I'm saying that we've been in this merger and acquisition phase during this stretch. So it makes sense that in omnibus it's coming down. I'm saying, let's see the next 5 years if we stop having these acquisitions.
Here's what I thought, and then we'll get Kate's thoughts on proprietary funds here, however you want to share it, Kate. But when I read this, I was like, I kind of was just like, no, duh. Like, I'm like, so what you're telling me is there are less proprietary funds in record keeping solutions, which to me, that's just been the trend. So if I look at this, it is not as popular anymore. Advisors are smarter, clients are smarter. They're, like you said, there's more transparency. There's more products out there that are, it's not like it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you don't see proprietary funds as much. They're not a thing anymore. I don't get all this consolidation around it, but I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Kate. Do you feel like?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think the landscape has changed, and
Right.
you've got that with increase in transparency, fee compression. Naturally, that's going to minimize that exposure to proprietary business. Overall, that it's not just true in the record keeper space; it's true across the board.
There's lawsuits about that kind of stuff. This article mentions. Yeah. It's a positive, by the way. Just reading the article is a good thing. I mean,
Tell me this though, JD, in the life cycle, like if someone sat me down and said, Chad, talk to me about the investment platform life cycle that you've seen in my short career. I would tell you that when I first started, it was heavy proprietary. Almost 70-80% of a core lineup was
Sure.
going to be proprietary with the major players that have an asset management.
sometimes you didn't have a choice.
Yeah. And then we saw the whole shelf space game go away, right? And we saw true transparency and fee disclosure start to bring down heavily that phase, that proprietary holding phase. And then what we saw was Empower come out 2 years ago and go, I don't care. I'm going back to shelf space. Here comes Select. And we're going to get these different asset managers to pay us to use their funds on our platform. And in tune, we've seen others then come right back and say, hey, if they're getting away with this, what we were all doing 15 years ago,
Yeah.
then we're going to start pushing proprietary again.
Because you see people in the chat talk about race to zero. And so through this transparency and through this new world where fees are going down and down and down, if you're a record keeper, you're sitting around going, okay, well, what can we do? And one of your options is, well, let's see if we can slide some more proprietary funds in there. But this graph's telling us that that's not happening. But can I tell you?
No, it's flattening though. Look at the gap.
Yeah.
I mean, it dropped 8%.
Can I give you
not much after that?
Can I give you two names that don't play by this game? It's in the article. Vanguard is stuffed fucking full with proprietary funds, and so is Fidelity, and so is American Funds for obvious reasons. So those are three large vendors that still play heavily in terms of using their own funds. Am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, next headline, unless anyone has more to say about proprietary.
Oh, I've got a lot to say on that one.
Mhm.
We sat, JD, let me give you one quick thing on that. We sat with a record keeper today in a sales meeting with the team. They reached out. They wanted to do a product update with us. I won't say the name, but I asked 3/4 of the way through. I said, hey, I just want to confirm because I do genuinely care about our partners. And I said, I want to make sure I understand your compensation is derived 100% through assets that hit your proprietary funds, right? And they said 100%. Doesn't matter number of plans, doesn't matter how big the plan is. These folks are compensated on the holdings of their asset management division and their product. That's saying a lot when your 401k wholesalers are not compensated on the 401k side, they're compensated on the asset management.
Yeah, well, it's a different way to do it, and we'll see. Like like you said, we might say it's trending downwards, but there's still a shit ton of plans out there that you come across that have proprietary target date funds as an option, let alone
I think it's trending the opposite. I really do.
You think it's gonna go up more now?
I 100% I do.
Sure. Well, some of those lawsuits might help fuel that direction if they come out being okay for the record keepers, or they all settle anyways. We never figure out who won or lost those things. Back to the old Department of Labor and For Us All. They're still going tit for tat on their little lawsuit, which is a lot of fun to watch from the sidelines. So to give everyone some context, government comes out with, you've all heard this, government comes out with their little bulletin. It says, hey, you should steer clear of these cryptos and 401k for all these different reasons. They bulleted out like 9 different reasons. For Us All is a record keeper who was really building a lot of their brand around having crypto in your 401k. So they sue the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor then comes back with a retort to, I think to kick it out of court. What's the fancy term for that? To,
dismiss it,
dismiss the case. And they say, they kind of step in it a little bit. They say like, look, nothing we said was a regulation or a law. We didn't say that we would come after you for this. There was no specifics about it being a penalty or that you could or couldn't do it. So they kind of went that way. And then the For Us All attorneys go, ooh, we're going to take your own words now and push them back on you. And they filed again saying, look, let's kick this. We agree. Let's dismiss this whole thing. Let's get it out of court. But we want the court to take what the Department of Labor just said and put it in writing for us, because they're saying, hey, they're not going to enforce this. They didn't make any real rules, like basically saying what they wrote doesn't mean shit is what For Us All wanted the court to do. And now the Department of Labor is coming back. It's a great article. You all should read it at plansponsor.com. And they're saying, no, fuck you. The court doesn't, that's not verbatim. I made that one up. The court doesn't have that power and authority to say that. And so you can't use our words, but we agree with you, For Us All. We should dismiss this case and move on. And it's a very little petty kind of, like, I feel like I'm watching like Beverly Hills Housewives or something. It's really exciting to watch the back and forth.
Really not. It's not that exciting.
It is. It's cool.
No,
Very
it's
cool.
not.
So that's just your update on that. DOL hitting back.
Oh, there's one finally.
Ah.
Jeez,
Say,
took
Greg's
us
been
a
asking.
while.
Do you
Don't
think,
worry, Chad. That's for JD's picture now, not you.
do
I
you,
have the chat bar blocking. I didn't see it.
do
Sorry.
you think this,
Hit it
You'll
again.
see
Oh,
it next time. It's just say an acronym, dude. Just say it so I can show Chad what it looks like.
oh, I'm about to.
Right.
Do you think this FTX thing, impacts your stuff in any way? Like when you're For Us All or Fidelity working on this, and then this whole thing I just mentioned goes down over the last week and a half, is that kind of giving them pause or screwing them up in some way? Come on, you're a pro crypto guy, Chad. I know you're not super pro 401k, but
Well, yes, absolutely. This has to
Fuck.
give pause because
Oh,
you have
Lord.
a major institution crashing that was a massive player in this space. I mean, think about it in any other industry. You take one of the largest providers in that space, whether it be providing hamburgers, and they crash, hell yeah, it's going to cause pause.
Well-
Now you see Ed and you see others saying there's no space for crypto in retirement. I think that if you're trying to use the FTX side of things and that
We don't know if
discussion-
this is actually an
does.
acronym.
I know.
Okay.
Futures
All
exchange
Gotta
is what
be.
it stands for.
Right?
Yeah, what
I mean,
does it stand
Yeah,
for?
so.
somebody
JD
called it
Engine.
out, so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to push the
Yeah.
button yet.
You
Gotta
can't connect the, oh, I said I'm drinking Malort. You can't connect those two dots, JD. And I honestly,
Just
I got some
audited
heat from
yourself on
people.
your booze.
I got heated from people who wrote and said, oh, I'm assuming
Yeah.
you bought from them as well. And I'm like, nope. I used Coinbase and then I pulled it
Yeah,
all on
Coin-
cold storage. I'm
Yeah.
in no exchange at all.
Not your keys, not your coin, right? Or whatever, what's it called? What do they say? No, I'm going to flip the script on that a little bit. You could say that because of this debacle, that Bitcoin and 401k custodied by Fidelity might be a great place to fucking do
Oh,
this. It's a
interesting.
safe place. You don't have to worry about,
Well,
it's like Sam.
I think debacle is a bit of an understatement, by
Yeah,
the way.
right.
I think
More
it's
than a
much worse
debacle.
than that.
But is that crazy what I just said? Did you hear what I
Yes,
just said?
100%.
it's
Because
crazy.
this is what is starting the avalanche. Now you're going to have regulation come in, and the
Mhm.
whole point, the whole appeal behind crypto was because of deregulation and this idea that the government wasn't going to get their cut. Newsflash: name me a time when the U.S. government hasn't gotten their cut on something.
I would disagree. I would
It was
disagree with the
part of
last
it.
statement.
United States, Kate. United States is the
You gotta
appropriate
drink
terminology.
your vodka.
Hey, Justin, if you and I had a kid, that's what he would look like up there. Just saying.
No, where's the
Thank you,
picture?
Jerry.
Where's the picture I showed you in
Chad,
Vegas?
Oh,
I think you're about to
Amazing.
tell her the decentralized part is a big part of cryptocurrency for sure.
Absolutely.
But do we all understand, all these people chiming in on LinkedIn too and here in the chat bar, when it's in your 401k, it's not going to be decentralized, dummy. It's going to be custodied and kept and by an institution it's not going to be the wild, wild west when it's in a 401k. And by the way, the fact that Bitcoin, Tony put on there, is 16,000 and something, and do you still like it? I think it's pretty impressive that Bitcoin has held strong amidst all this, I'll drink for it, FTX shit. Like, there's a lot of positive stuff with that. And the fact that now it's going to force regulation to get involved, I don't think this is the death of crypto, everybody. That's a naive perspective. This
It's
could be
not.
the fuel to the fire of this motherfucker and send it to the moon.
I don't think it's going to be the death of it, but I don't think it has any place in a retirement plan. If you want to do it, that's fine, but have it separate from those assets.
Boo. You're so boring. You're so
I
boring.
know, but boring.
It's pretty simple, common sense.
Pankaj just said it.
It's added skepticism. That's all it is. The skeptics are going to take this and leverage it. That's fine. It's still going to hang around. It's not gone. Like that's a naive thing to think and say.
I could see why people would say that.
Pankaj nailed it. We're still in an infancy stage here.
Right.
With the crypto. Like, blockchain has been around for some time. The technology is there. That it's it's solvent, but we're still in its infancy, and trying to shove it into the largest financial system that exists in the retirement plan space in the US, we're being naive if we think we can do that with ease.
It's premature.
It needs to be it needs to be more stable.
Who?
Chad,
Chad?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
gotta
For
drink.
what?
United States.
I've said it before. I'll say it
I did
again.
not say the
You're allowed.
abbreviation of that.
You're allowed.
If anyone knows, it's Justin.
Okay.
Chad. He's
You're a-
way.
Anything else?
he's-
Sometimes I feel like this
No,
Acrosin.
Chad, JD, I'm intentionally trying to keep you from making a point here. We're done.
Sometimes I
This
feel like
is
this
done.
Acrosin game gets
Moving
gets
on.
in the way of the actual fucking show. You're allowed in a 401k to invest in your self-directed brokerage account and buy Peloton and have it lose 90% of its value. You're allowed to invest in all kinds of penny stocks in your 401k. Why is this any fucking different? It's
Because
been
you
my
have to
point
go out
since
and
the
actually
beginning.
do that yourself, and it's not accessible to everybody who doesn't know how to invest or
But,
doesn't. know.
but it will be. We're talking about in a 401k, Justin.
You know why
and-
that is, JD. If I'm being honest, you know
Shouldn't
why
open
that
up
is.
to everybody.
Is because all the other things that you talked about. Oh, I invest in Peloton. Well, I can touch a Peloton. I can feel a Peloton. Oh, I invest in penny stocks. I could see what they are. You're investing in make believe coins and shit that doesn't exist.
Do
It's
you ever
in
touch your
it's in
paycheck?
fine air.
Doesn't
It's
have to
just
be.
it's fake. It's not even real. Nobody knows what it is. And if you think you're an expert, you're not, because nobody fucking knows what it is. So stop acting like an expert. All of us,
Well,
you guys included, knock it off. Let's move
That's
on.
not true. It's not true.
JD,
You're wrong.
here's probably gonna
I'm
be
not
a-
wrong, JD. You're not an expert, dude.
I'm as much an expert as anybody else.
Exactly. And if that's the
So guess what,
spectrum we're
Mark?
going off
So
of,
guess what, Mark? We pontificate on these types of things in the financial services industry. We talk about
Mark's been
investments.
blocked.
You're the one who
Where did
Can
I
I
go?
stir the pot for a second? Can I
Go ahead,
stir the
Katie,
pot
yeah.
for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
How
the-
about this unpopular opinion?
did the blockchain just
think
block me?
outside brokerage windows should be allowed in 401k plans?
Yeah, you don't believe that too. Sure, that's a decent argument. I get it. But it's allowed, so I just feel like it's the same thing.
I hate
No.
to hear that as a blanket statement. I get your point, Kate, but as a blanket statement, you can't truly believe that.
I do truly believe it. I mean, I'm a hypocrite.
So an
because
advisor
I have
shop
one in
that's-
my own plan.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean.
It's a little
Like,
bit different. I think for the mass,
General population, yeah.
exactly. I think it should be a managed lineup, and that's it.
But
And if you want
But why-
to have stocks, then either open up a separate brokerage account or work with an advisor to do it.
But why can't you
Yeah,
have a
pre-tax.
program for the masses, for that 100-person employer that says, look, here's a core menu of funds that we've went through that and looked at and vetted for you through with our financial advisor. Here's some target date funds that we've done the same. And maybe there's some specialty asset classes on that core menu that don't fit the normal one. And then for any of you out there that would like to supplement your
What is that
portfolio
picture
with
Sorry.
that's what his partner or whatever, his chick on the,
Oh,
we won't even
sorry.
get into that. And then actually we'll get into it right before the
no,
wheel.
come on.
No, not going there.
You derailed me. My point
Justin.
was,
Good.
That's it.
Yeah, we won.
For scissors.
all right, let me leave you with this.
No.
That chick
No.
and the
No,
dude,
we're done. We're done.
he has like sexual relations with like 8 people that are all under his company's thing. Like there's a name for it. I forget it. Yeah, Greg, gross. All right, let's spin the wheel of ice.
Gross.
The wheel of ice.
Kate, who you with? Oh, you waited too long. Oh, it's a Malort.
By the way, I don't have Malort, so
So-
Brandon, can you send me some?
Coincidentally, I have Malort. What does this mean?
Means you're supposed to do
You're-
a Smirnoff
pros.
Ice and drop
Okay.
your Malort.
I
in
got it. I got it covered. I got it
Oh,
covered.
so we do the same thing, but just instead of makers, it's Malort now.
Decide
Okay,
right now.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. Chad, the next topic, which you can take off with here, is about 8 years ago on Retireholics episode 3. We did the top 9 record.
Wait,
keepers.
number 3 ever?
Yeah.
Episode number 3. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, when was that? What year was that?
Oh
It was
goodness.
8 years
2015.
8 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. We did
What?
a top 9 record keepers by total plans. And if you remember, I had a little visual prop. I had a board with like tape on it where I revealed them as we went up the list from 9 to number 1. And it was Chad's idea, everybody, that maybe we could revisit that list and see where they are today, like how things have evolved. I'm going to drop my Malort into my Smirnoff. You want to give some more context on that, Chad, or try to set it up somehow?
I'll tell you why it came about, Kate. You know, we've hired a new team member who is crushing it. His name is Devin, and he's gone back and he's watching all of the Retireholics episodes. And then he comes to me with questions about him. And some of the things he's asking, I'm like, this is so outdated, dude. It doesn't even exist anymore in our space. Like, let's talk about what it is now. But anyways, he brought this up and he goes, hey, there's some names on here I don't recognize. And you're talking the top 10 record keepers 8 years ago by plan count, the top 10. Tell me first one that comes to your mind, Kate, that's no longer on that list.
Mass Mutual.
Yep. And that's what made me laugh when I read this. I'm like, how many of these are not going to be relevant anymore?
Yeah.
How many of them are not going to be in the same order? So JD, I don't know if you have any graphic or you just want to run through them, but it was astonishing to me how much has changed in 8 years, but really not.
Mind drops. All right, here we go. We're going to
Sure
jump right
was.
into our
Let's do it.
first subject
God.
matter, and I'm going to bring over some visual
Look at
props.
that.
You know, those are always
Yeah.
cool.
Marky the
There could be some
Riveter.
issues with this. We didn't.
I got a board.
We didn't practice any of this.
I got a board. Let's see if we can get this to work here.
What's that picture?
Look at how young JD looks.
That's Marky the Riveter.
Marky the Riveter.
Here. I think we can just get normal here.
No robe.
There you go.
No robe, yeah.
Okay, so
Free robe.
All
it's
right.
actually a pretty sought after
All right. We
magazine issue.
we're not
I
gonna
think
watch the whole
is the
thing.
Wait, hey,
annual
Chad,
record keeper
Chad,
survey that Plan
as
Sponsor
Devin's
magazine
boss,
does.
are you requiring me to
with
watch
this
all
list,
of
this
Is the top 9 based on total plans.
When we all right, when we did this, number 9 was Mass Mutual, number 8 was Nationwide, then it was American Funds, then a Census, then Voya, then actuarial deferral. I don't know what they call them. Then that payroll company, then Principal, then Hancock, and number 1 was Paychecks. And at the time, Paychecks had 68,000 plans. Mass Mutual had 32,000. And that's what we were looking at is total plans.
Plan count from Plan Sponsor
Yeah.
Magazine
So
is what this
on
was
that list, though, Mass Mutual's the only one that's not there, if I heard you correct.
Yes.
The
But-
only one that's
Positioning
no
now is
longer, that's
different.
been acquired.
But
It's no
but
longer.
Yeah.
some have left that list. So some are no longer on that top list. And we can talk a bit about that. What I thought was interesting was if you look at their total plans now and you look at their total plans then, with the exception of the 2 payroll providers and with the exception of some acquisitions, I don't feel like they're winning a lot of business, or excuse me, we can see their numbers of what they win because Plan Sponsor now has evolved this record keeping survey to also show you how many plans they won in a year in 2021. But those are interesting to look at. We could look at some of those today. But they also show you like under 10 million and above 100 million. And so there's a lot of different ways they kind of chop it up and look at it. But I looked at this and as I'll give you an example, Nationwide, who was number 9 on the list, had 39,000 plans. In 2021, they fell to number 11 and they had 32,950 plans. So they have lost plans, net lost plans over the last 8 years. It's the same thing. You look at like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let's ask, because I'd be curious to know. Mark, you said you didn't check JD's email.
No.
Hopefully you're being truthful.
I
What
am.
do you think if Paychecks back in 2015, I think that's when it was, right, JD?
It's 8
Was
years
at-
ago. Yeah.
60,000 plans, 67,000 plans, somewhere in that
Yep.
range, right?
Yeah.
What do you think they're at now? Knowing that Nationwide was flat
Wow, they went
or
down.
down?
No, well,
They went down.
Take a guess, Mark.
from you said 67, and that was 8 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say north of no, I'm not saying I'm not gonna go general. I'm gonna say 111. No,
Why don't
Don't-
you take
don't.
more time? by doing-
108,000 and 22.
It's just over 100. It's 101.37, but that's good. That's good. So I consider that growth. If you look at
Massive.
If you look at Voya, I stated that in the beginning. I said the payroll companies have been crushing it. And by the way, when you look at total plans sold in a year in the same study, it's always the payroll companies that are crushing it.
But the thing is, when you look at retention rates, why that is so surprising to me, JD, is they're losing so many plans
You
as well.
say
The
that.
difference is they're
Yeah.
bringing on massive amounts of volume.
So we've always
Look at that wheel of
about-
ice.
We've
Oh,
always-
Cal
man.
savers though too.
We've always said that. We've always said that the payroll companies bring on a lot of plans, but they lose a lot of plans. Is that really true? Do we have facts to back that up? Because it's looking to me like a lot of these record keepers lose a lot of fucking plans. Like they're treading water to gain new ground. Voya, when we did that show Voya, and I would claim Voya as a really like aggressive record keeper over the past 8 years. Voya had 46,000 plans. Voya in 2021 came in at number 6 with 51,000 plans. It's been 8 years and they've barely ticked up, which tells me another fun experiment is go look at how many plans they sell each year and then
That's what I was just gonna say.
start to back into how many
Well,
plans
what's
they
the-
fucking lose
The
because they
difference
lose a lot.
between like the true record keepers versus the payroll companies.
The difference?
again?
Is there a massive jump, or is that kind of more in line with the rest of the record keepers? Like we're maybe
No,
making a lot of
they're-
paychecks jump.
To me, I feel like what's it called? To me, I feel like ADP and paychecks. I'll drink.
Automatic data
Electric forward
processing.
Automatic data processing.
That's what it is.
Don't tell them what it is. It's
They are being successful, Justin, and the others are not. They are adding, and the reason why they're adding is obvious. They have access to all these payroll clients, and I get bombarded by them all the time with shit, or excuse me, like.
Well, and they sell a pipe dream. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I've been brought into a sold plan by somebody who works for a payroll company, only to sit down with that business owner and go, do you realize what you've actually signed up for? You don't need a 401k. You needed a simple IRA or a SEP IRA. They are oversold. They're oversold more times than not. And guess what? They're being sold by people who aren't even licensed.
I
It
know.
drives me crazy.
Well, and Kate, to further your point, Pankaj mentioned in the chat bar that they're getting compensated only for that individual sale. There's no
Mhm.
retention, there's no growth,
None.
there's no. And I have caught this a number of times with folks at those providers that will say, hey, I know the plan's going to move.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've had this. Can you make
yeah,
sure
me
it stays
too.
for 90 days? If
Yep.
it stays for 90 days, I get paid and it doesn't get a clawback.
Yep.
So let it
I've
stay
had
for
that
90 before you
conversation
move it.
too.
Well,
Yep.
I got
They don't
news.
care.
I got news for you two haters. They're winning the game. Scoreboard, bitch. They're winning the game.
Well,
Like,
so here's the thing that was so surprising to me in this, JD, if I could put my nerdy brain on for a second. If I see these record keepers that are relatively stagnant over an 8-year period, and all of us said to start off today's conversation about the acquisition and the asset managers, that we have seen consolidation and we have seen compression in costs and fees and margins. If these record keepers are flat for 8 years and apparently not making money on the 401k, then how are they continuing to invest in this space?
It's a
The
loss leader.
That's what I was just going to say. It's the asset management. There's other components of it. It's float income. There's fixed income, or there's fixed accounts and the spread on that. Like they're making money in so many other ways that bringing in 2,000 plans when they were once bringing in 4,000 is just fine with them.
Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
get the K margins are thinner, but they're
Yeah,
still
sure.
making plenty of money.
Ask any advisor that is in the wealth management space. Would you rather have 100 million in assets that you manage individually and get charged, receive a fee for that? Or would you rather have a plan client with 100 million in assets? Give me 100 million in individual wealth management clients all day long.
Right, sure. For sure. For a lot of reasons. One other name that wasn't on that list back in the day when we went through it was Empower wasn't there. And they're there now.
Well, that's
And-
because Empower wasn't Empower back then.
Well, they're Great West, but they
Great
didn't make the
West,
list
but-
for numbers. But now
Sure.
they're there. I thought you were going to say because of acquisition, which is true.
Yeah.
So they've made the list. And someone in the chat bar asked, oh, thanks, Chad, for putting that in the chat bar. Someone asked about guideline. And by the way, you should all go to plansponsor.com. You can sign up free to gain access to this. And it's under their research tab. And it's the Recordkeeper survey. If you all don't, it's a lot of fun to look through. Guideline has, someone mentioned Guideline in the chat bar. Guideline has 24,436 plans. That puts them at number 8 for the below 10 million. If I look at Guideline here in live time and I click on them in terms of where they land on the overall rankings for total plans, they are number 14. So they fall out of that. But yeah, and maybe your point there in the chat bar, I forgot who said it is, they are coming along. So they're a new name that's starting to position themselves.
Well, take things into consideration. Like JD, we found out the total number of plans for Standard, Transamerica, T-Row was a surprising one to me in terms of the total number of plans. They're all well below Guideline. Trans is not. Trans
Let
is above.
me have some
But-
fun with you. I'll start with Kate. The list for new plans sold in 2021. So top 10 of who sold the most plans. Did Chad get ringed up for something?
It's for Thomas Rowe Price Jr.
You either try to your best. Who do you think sold the most plans in 2021?
I
What'd
would
you say?
say one of the payroll companies.
Yeah,
It's gotta be a
yeah.
payroll company.
Number 1 and 2 are Paychex and automatic data processing. Paychex is number 1. Paychex sold 20,000 plans in 2021.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Automatic data processing sold almost 18,000.
80.
Number 3 was a census, and they sold 11,000. You know, it's cool if you watch the old video, Chad, from 8 years ago. You talk about a census, and you're like, I really think that I'm surprised to see them on this list. I really didn't think they'd be here. It must be driven by their Vanguard product they have. So that it's a fun little timeline, right?
JD.
Timetable.
JD, do you
Yeah.
want to know the secret to it? It's not that they're just salespeople. They are selling convenience. They're selling a bundled
Hey, that's
service.
You think those three
Well-
fit that mold? Those 3 fit that mold?
I think the top 2 fit that mold.
Yeah, for
Well, let's-
sure.
We should get into that because that's valuable for the people listening. Selling convenience. I'll leave the bundle
Selling
side
convenience.
out of it. Selling convenience is 100% what they are pitching. 100%. Now they have access,
But they're not
Kate. Don't
really
forget that. They have access.
By the way, if you're a smart marketer, that's how you should sell 401k plans right now. That's what the payroll companies do. That's what the disruptors do. Go to every one of their websites, the guidelines, the betterments, the human interest, the whomevers, the best wells, and it'll say 401ks made easy, simple. You know, that's what they sell.
Hard, easy, and awesome, right?
Number 4 is American Funds with 7,000. Hancock at number 5 was 6,000. Principal selling 4,000. Trans Am right behind them with 4,000, a little less. Empower sold 3,886. Then Fidelity, then T-Row. Those are the ones that sold the most plans in 2021. I find that interesting. We can
But there
move
was a
on.
huge discrepancy between the top 2 and that third one.
for
Massive.
sure.
Yeah,
Massive.
and it's all because of a convenience. The pitch is, we'll do your payroll, we'll do your HR, we'll do your 401k. You never have to worry about it.
It's also, and everyone
JD.
knows this, as Pankaj will say, no duh, JD. It's also that they have, they're a massive payroll company. They have access to all these companies that don't have a 401k or do have a 401k, and they hit them on the regular with little 401k ads. So
Well, JD, to further the point I tried to make earlier about the leaving, I just want to note that in 8 years, Paychex had by far the largest jump, right? It's 40,000 plans. You just said they sold 20,000 last year.
I know. Yeah, so they lose a lot.
So think about that.
Yeah, they're losing a lot too.
They're losing a lot.
Everybody, that's a really important fact is I think in this business, there's a lot of musical chairs happening. There's a lot of loss and gain, you know, coverage gap aside. But so
let me make one last point on the ease and the efficiency. And I'm going to read you real quick an email from a prospect that came back. I feel very confident that we don't lose often. And when we do, I like to learn from why we lost. And so here's the email from this prospect that tells us
it's electronic mail, buddy.
Oh, come on. Screw no.
You said it twice. I'm sorry, what?
I think we need a Chatbar ruling on that one.
Yeah, I want a Chatbar rule, please.
Okay.
The message. Yeah, Chatbar can chime in because that's BS. That's bull crap.
Kate's already in.
They said. They said he.
Sorry, Chad. Fucking Acrosen. I'm gonna put that thing to bed, man. It interrupts the show. Go on, Chad.
He says
that's for talking shit about Acrosen.
We're gonna take a half step transitioning from our simple individual retirement account, and we're gonna go with Guideline. The decision was influenced in part by Guideline's baked-in compatibility with Gusto. We believe that even though their service level will not match that of yours, their lower fees and integration with Gusto is why we're taking this step. And they go on to essentially say, we know we're not going to get as good a service, so when we incubate this, we'll be back. And it just made me realize, and so here's my fault. This is my point to the audience here. This plan, this specific situation with Gusto, we were pitching with Transamerica, was one of the providers in there. I could easily have been better at my job and talked through payroll integration. I could have chatted through 401k Safe and their ability to do the same tech in the middle and create that same relationship. There's so much to talk about in the 401k when you're, especially on a startup, when you're consulting, that often the efficiency and the ease that Kate's talking about gets pushed to the side. It can't anymore because they're hearing it from everywhere else. We have to focus on the ease when helping these people make decisions.
You're right. Or you can just say it's easy, Chad. You don't have to focus on it. Just do what they're doing. They're lying. It's not true. They have payroll. I've said this. People have heard me say this so much, so I apologize for saying it again. You ask every disruptor, what are you doing different? What's new? What have you created? What have you invented? How are you the Uber of all this? What did you do? And they're like, payroll. Their number one answer is payroll integration. We have 360 payroll integration. I'm like, Recordkeeper's been doing that for 10 years, you fucking dipshit. Like, that's not evolution. That's not anything new, but they sell it, Chad. They sell it. And that's where we,
and they already have the relationship and the access. That's what the point of making there with Paychex, with Gusto, with all of these, they already have the relationship.
Well, I've said this before. We blew it with payroll. Like, we've been able to do this as an industry for a long time, but we failed at it. We tried, it didn't work. We gave up. When I mean it didn't work, we couldn't drive sales the way we thought it would. These partnerships between payroll companies and record keepers and those shared files. And we gave up basically as an industry. And these new disruptors from Silicon Valley, these venture capital backed, private equity backed $100 million investments, they have pushed hard on these payroll partnerships. And Tony asked, who's Gusto? Gusto is responsible for Guideline's success in the 401k market.
99%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so, hey, again, don't hate the player, hate the game, bro. They're winning by doing that, and we blew it. Okay. And maybe we just need to refocus on that, like Chad said, and start to sell that same ease. I don't know about you, but when there's financial naughtiness happening, and the naughtiness in two different ways with the guy from FTX, I'll drink. When markets are awry and you don't know what's going to go, there's talk of recession. You want to hold on to something like a lifesaver, or, a lifeguard to come out and save you. Well, you know who that lifeguard is? It's Rogue Guy, and it's Trunk Stock Tips. He's going to help you all make some money. Trunk Stock Tips.
Okay.
We can't.
One quick caveat, I do have some clients that are listening in. This is not financial advice. Please.
Whoa.
lies.
Kate,
She lies.
I give my own disclaimers. If you're
No,
watching the
I need to
show
protect my people.
and you need advice,
I mean,
turn
he
the
hasn't
show
been
off
wrong.
right now.
Not true. Because let me back it
It's
up. with some
amazing.
facts.
You are 100% wrong.
Rogue Guy is a genius. I've told you guys before. Some people are born to do certain things, and Rogue Guy was born to pick investments, to pick stocks. He told you to buy Netflix at $199. It's now $295. That's a 48% gain. And people, as I go through these, I want you to know times have been tough.
Things have all been in the last 3 months.
The markets have been volatile, and Mark does no wrong. He told you to buy Apple at 142. It's up. It's at 150. That's a 6% gain. He told you to buy Twitter at 43. And I think when he told you to buy it, he told you because Elon's going to fucking take that shit over. It was pre-Elon. And I know you feel like Twitter's had some bad news, right? But you forget. It closed out. It's no longer a public stock. So it forever will be at at $53.70. Mark told you to buy it when it was at 43. That's a 24% gain that's locked in for you now because Twitter is no longer a traded stock. Home Depot, it was 269. Rogue Guy said buy it. It's 311 now, people. I mean, do I go on? Peloton, he doesn't always say buy. He said sell. Peloton's down. Layered Superfoods, he said sell. If you didn't listen to Mark, that stock's down 26% since he told you to sell it. Bird, and he loves Bird. He loves going around those scooters. It was 304. He told you to sell it. It's down 14% loss.
What do we got tonight, JD? I want to know. I want to know what I'm buying.
Well, I want to, for full disclosure, he has missed one. So those are 8 picks and he's missed one. So he's 7 for 8.
It's not bad.
He said buy Tesla, and Tesla is getting hurt. But Mark, I'm assuming your vision probably had a longer time duration or something. Who knows? I mean, we don't know, right? It's not a science.
No, Tesla is one you just hang on to forever.
Right. Yeah. Good. Well, on my way to the office, I drive my truck and I like to pick up some coffee along the way. And I pull that fucker into a line that's like 36 cars all lined up just so I can get my Starbucks coffee on my way to the
reusable
office.
red cup. Did you go on the red cup day?
No,
Reusable
no.
day? No, okay.
I think Starbucks has not been on a bit of a tear recently. I'd have to pull it up. And I know you don't care about any of these things,
No,
Mark.
don't give a shit. Don't
So,
even tell me.
but, so I've
This
given
isn't easy. This is so easy. It's ridiculous.
I've given you a lot of stocks that have been
Yeah.
beaten down.
Yeah.
This one I think has been doing pretty well, but Starbucks, buddy, the ticker is SBUX. I'll drink for that.
No, you
and,
don't have to drink for that.
What do you say, Mark? What do you say?
Just buy it.
That's it. I need some
Right.
come on, give me some entertainment value here.
Well, all I can say is if you know me, which I know Chad and Justin know me very well, is I drink a lot of coffee. So a lot of coffee, like too much coffee. There's a Starbucks literally across the street from my house. And
One on every corner.
and yeah, I mean, now I will say this, I have seen in recent history over the past couple of years, a few locally have closed, which really surprised me. I was like, what? Why is that? Maybe they've just realized there's far too many in this certain area, so we're going to scale back. So I think they're making some smart decisions. Now, let's be honest, all of you like hardcore coffee drinkers who are going to say, oh, it's the worst coffee ever. I didn't say it was great coffee. They provide a hot drink and a cold drink everywhere when you need one. And guess what? I always want one. I'm always going to buy one. Their damn mobile app makes it
And they
so
give you
easy.
free ones like every
And
6.
they get the stars and all the rewards and the free stuff, and you can game the system. I'm in. They're just gonna take off. I
To
saw
the
a couple
moon.
of Pete's Coffees close recently. Guess what? Starbucks is probably gonna move into those fucking stores and take off. So
Yeah.
just keep buying it.
Pete's Coffee sucks.
You had me at hello.
Yeah. Why do I keep getting blurred? Why?
Hey, I like this, Mark. This stock has been on a tear. Brandon threw up the one day, but the 6 month, it's up, man. It's up. And you're saying, I don't care. It's
I
been
don't
up
give a shit.
36%.
Coffee,
6 months.
coffee is recession proof. Maybe high-end coffee,
You're right,
not.
you're right.
But Starbucks offers
Dude.
good, affordable, regular cups of coffee as
Affordable?
well.
Okay,
You know,
so,
many
so
regular cups of
Basic
coffee,
wages
it's what,
love
like
that shit.
$1.89 for a
Chad,
regular
Chad,
venti cup of coffee.
you and
at
I are,
Starbucks? No, it's not. You live in Missouri. It's how much it is
I
there?
do live in Missouri.
Oh
You and
my
I-
God, it's like $9 here.
and by the way,
You spend
Chad,
like $10 driving.
I don't think most people just get a black coffee like you and I do. I think they order like a fucking blah, 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 frap whip, double whatever, cappuccino.
Ask Kate.
Okay,
Kate, what do you
so-
order there? No, I want to know
Yeah.
what Kate orders.
Yeah, so Josh has actually gotten me hooked on these Americanos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Good stuff. Good
That's,
stuff.
that's racist.
I
Okay.
hold on real quick. I was in a Starbucks the other day. I took my daughter there after school got out early. I was working. She was reading one of her books she got from the library. And without even really realizing it, we were across the street from a school. Okay, high school. And when that school got out, there was a line out the door. Again, these are high school kids, and I'm wondering, none of you have jobs, and they're all buying the massive, like, milkshake-looking drinks that I know are like $9. So again, I'm just
Right.
saying these.
How did I spend that
dude.
much money?
Yeah.
You're right, Mark.
Yeah.
The broke ass people buy Starbucks because
Yeah.
it's a pleasure for them in the morning. It makes them feel happy in their miserable, broken, poor
Oh my
world.
gosh,
They
JD.
go there. No, it's true. And
No,
and
it is
have-
not. They don't have to be broken and miserable to go there.
no, but those people
Jeez.
do, and it gives them.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Thank you,
And-
Brandon.
And like Hackler said, he said it's crack. I really do think like it's the only coffee I have. I don't know what's in it, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I like this coffee. This is good, man. I don't feel that way with my other coffees. I don't know what it is. Okay. Fuck. We've got a lot of stuff for the after show.
Was there any content during the show? I'm just
There
wondering.
was some, but man, we had fucking Kate Clark, and we didn't
Excuse
leverage
me.
her enough.
Use me for a headline.
In the
God.
Lady
after
that actually
show,
talk about me.
in the after show, we can talk about cold calling. I want to check in on the Stephen Wilkinson guy on LinkedIn. I actually had not a conversation, a back and forth text with him about, I dug deeper into some of his stats. And so we can talk about that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he's this guy
I
on
do.
LinkedIn trying to film and document his cold calling journey in 401k. So it's really interesting. We can check in on that. I've got some updates. We can talk about Biden's tuition forgiveness. Chad wants to talk about how Recordkeeper wholesalers can't tax. We'll do that in the after
I don't
show.
want to talk. I just want to point out.
Point it out. Well, I guess I just did. My bad. Chatbar. Oh, wait, next week, housekeeping. Next week, I'll do that after Chatbar Champion. Chatbar Champion, your vote, Justin.
3-piece.
3 Ps. Chad.
Yeah, go Mark first, because there's two that I need to go back and look at a comment that I
I'm-
wrote down first.
I'm gonna vote for Pankaj because I like it when people give me shit. So Pankaj has my votes. Robe guy,
Steven.
Steven who?
With an F.
Froth.
I don't want to say it
That
wrong.
just 'cause it
Steven
popped up
Steven F. Is it Force maybe?
Pankaj, Steven, Forrest. Oh yeah, yes. I know Steven.
Dude,
Um,
there's some quiet.
Yeah, for us all, right? Yeah.
Justin, who was yours again? Sorry.
3-piece.
3-piece. That's right.
Jeez, Brent.
By the way, 3-piece called me yesterday on my cell phone, and I had that moment of like when Tony calls me, I'm like, oh fuck. But I picked up, I called him, we talked. Kate.
I gotta go with my girl Katie.
Oh,
Fucking-
Katie was super active. She was one of the two I was researching.
Yeah.
Okay, Kate.
Researching, Chad, for 1 minute, can you just not?
Wait, hold
Are you
on.
talking
There's
about
two
Katie,
Katies.
the national director of all things third
Yeah.
party? John Hancock.
I
Like,
don't know. All I would say is since Katie took that job, I haven't received a call or a text yet.
have you seen her new office? She's in the corner office of John Hancock with a waterfall behind her marble desk, and she only writes with a gold pen. She's super fancy now. Did we get everyone?
No, you haven't got me yet, but I want to
All
hear
right.
yours. Are you
I
going?
said
Are you going,
Pankaj.
Katie?
I said Pankaj.
Oh, you did say Pankaj. For the defense of my electronic email, I'm going hack.
Okay.
I'm going hack for the defense.
It's good that you throw the greatest of all times in there, you know. It's once in a while because I feel like they get looked over. Okay, so we got Pankaj, we got Steven, we got 3-piece, we got Katie, and we got the Hackinator. Here we go. This is a competitive one. I thought this is a good show so far. I like this. It's vibing for me.
This is
I
why.
mean,
Yeah.
Kate.
Why
It's
it's
Kate.
Kate, yeah.
We'll see if Brandon gets the voting up at any point. But
Is he still
I think
sober?
Brandon might be asleep.
Is Brandon still sober? He told me the other day he's not doing caffeine now. Like, so now he's giving up alcohol. He's giving up caffeine.
life must be so shitty.
Well, he does other drugs. So
Weekly ayahuasca.
Oh, what did I call the ayahuasca the other day on the show?
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't
That's
even
good. I
know.
forget.
Yeah, it was all bad.
I'm actually going tomorrow.
are you really?
Again?
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Are
So
you
it's
just
some-
meeting like spiritual beings from all over the universe? What's going on?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Solves
I
his
think
inner
I think
problem.
it's called an addiction. If
Brandon
you go
looks so
again,
happy.
Hey,
Look at how
Justin,
happy B
Yeah.
looks.
how do you think a frog on a bicycle brings the RV onto our stage graphic? Where do you think that comes from? You think that's just,
Samara?
yeah, well, you're right. It's Samara. That did that.
Katie walked away with it.
Katie, the national TPA. Oh shit.
so
Blah, blah,
close.
blah.
Not over.
All right, Katie, you won Chatbar champion. Send me your mailing
Again.
address and where you're going to be next Thursday night, and I'll send you a dozen gold pens to chew on or something. Okay, it
You
is.
gotta send her one of those like little plaque things that has like a
That's a good
writing
point.
on it. Yeah.
Next
No,
week
you
is
know what I'm
Turkey
gonna
Day, bro.
do?
Oh yeah, next week's Thanksgiving. I'm not showing up, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Mark,
No,
it's a
no,
job
we
requirement.
don't have a show, but you know what I'm going to do? Oh, you're right. So, Katie,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you something anyways, but I'm going to get you back. I know you're new to Hancock, but Hancock for decades has sent us that caramelized popcorn in a big fucking tub, and I hate that shit. And so I'm gonna
Cheddar
fucking
cheese.
send a 5-gallon tub of caramel popcorn to your house, all because John Hancock's. It's coming back to you. It's paybacks. That's what it is.
Yeah, Hack's got it. Send 10 of them.
I'm being punished. for
50
old shit.
gallons. 50
No.
gallons.
That's how it works, Katie. You're part of the team now. You got to answer to what they've done.
Yeah, but the tin it will be in will be Harry Styles, so I'm sure you'll love it.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up right now.
Harry's on the West Coast doing some shows. That sexy little
Pretty
guy.
sure Katie loves that guy, right?
I love that
Yeah,
guy.
he just canceled 2 of their 4 shows that they were
Oh
here to
shit.
watch.
Okay.
Mhm.
Katie,
I could care less about that, Justin.
thank you so much for being with us tonight. We love you. You are part of our family. Many people may not know this, but this is going to sound weird, but people want to hang out with us sometimes at conferences, and we try to weed out the ones we don't want to hang out with. That guy we hung out with. And Kate was like
He does
our
drugs.
she was like our 5th Retireholic in wherever we were. I forget where we were, but she hung out. She went to dinner with us. We hung out and gambled together. And you're truly are part of our family. We love you. You're also a phenomenal advisor and a great partner of ours. But anyways, we love you, Kate. Yes, Chad.
I was just gonna say we didn't give her enough bandwidth tonight. Kate, arguably, and I do say that arguably, the most intelligent advisor I have worked with, and it's been so much fun. I wish we could get more of that brain on here, and we will in the after show if you're sticking around. But my God, it's impressive every time we talk.
Okay. And thanks to you,
Kate, he
for
says that
tuning in,
to every
everybody.
guest, every show,
Yeah,
by the way.
She watches, she knows better.
We appreciate all 34,000 of you out there for tuning in to tonight's show.
I want the stats for tonight. I want to know if I brought the best.
You're all right. It's Brandon, play us some music. Oh, next week. Sorry. Yeah, next week.